The night's long shadows have dragged you through time and across worlds to kneel here before my worm-eaten throne. I offer you now this one chance to walk away with your lives and your souls intact. Please, tell me our story. It's part of the human condition to need love, whether it's a romantic love or a sort of keen friendship, or the love that a daughter has for her father, or that a mother has for her son. Love is as essential to our survival as air, as water. Without it, we cannot speak, we cannot breathe, we cannot set free our deepest, darkest secrets. And when we do at last find someone with whom we can share our vulnerabilities, our secrets, we come face to face with this terrible irony. When we finally speak our secrets out loud, our words are so rusty, so meaningless, and so feeble from being buried in the dark corners of closed and shuttered hearts. So we find love and we finally pour out our souls, only to learn that love alone isn't enough to save us from ourselves. At the end of last season, Sabria Sunishal, the warrior priestess of the sun god Syrian, found herself wrestling with her own secrets. Her secret love of a beautiful dark-haired princess named Arit. She'd been married away to an unworthy man, but still their love persisted in secret. Her secret holy quest to assassinate the king priest of Istar, her secret plea with the gods to bring down their hammer against the king priest, and the secret darkness that had touched her soul and latched onto her being the day that Sabria entered a pyramid cursed by a demon known only as the Jackal Queen. All of these heavy secrets were accompanied by questions and guilt. Why was Sabria left behind when all of the other good clerics of the world were raptured by their gods? Could Sabria have stopped the cataclysm and saved millions of lives? Could she have saved the life of her beloved Arit? Can she still stop the cataclysm somehow if she just finds a way to finish her quest? And if she gives into the blood magic that's churning inside of her, will there be anything left of the good woman she once was? We begin our story tonight under the stormy canopy of a dark forest. Sabria Sunishal has just knowingly tapped into the dark power inside of her for the first time. You watch Sabria as the 6 monstrous insects with bodies like kender fall prey to your spell. A moment ago, they were approaching you. Now they turn on each other. They tear through each other's chitinous flesh with their clacking mandibles and long yellowed nails. You watch as they go mad. Their blood sprays onto the forest floor, and the 6 undead creatures rip each other apart. You're watching this. What's Sabria doing? What's she feeling?
I can hear my blood pounding through my veins. I hear it in my head like the beat of a drum, faster and faster. And as I open my eyes and I see the destruction that this new, powerful magic has wrought, and my arms go limp. I don't even realize that I've been holding the muscles taut. My shoulders ache, but still, under my breath,
there is nothing left of them. As long as these undead things can move an arm, as long as they can take one last snap of their mandibles, they are tearing each other apart. It's only when there's nothing left of them that you realize that you're alone and it's quiet, besides the sounds of the thunderstorm.
I look around for a moment, taking in the scene and the setting, and suddenly I feel a trickle or a tickle. I reach up and I realize that my nose is bleeding. I wipe it off and I look around. Where is she? She was right here a moment ago. Where did she go?
If you're looking for Averin, you can roll me perception. You could roll me nature if you want to try tracking her. You don't see her anywhere around you.
There's my perception roll.
I'll tell you this, as you're looking around, you were near the edge of the tree line. You'll recall you went into the woods with Averin while the others hung back to fight or to at least distract this giant. You don't hear or feel the quaking of the earth. When you look back towards the tree line behind you, you don't see the edge of the forest. In fact, it's thick woods all around you, and it's grown darker significantly over the past few seconds.
In my state, I must have wandered farther into the forest. I crouch, looking for a little cover, a tree or a rock nearby. and try to get my bearings. Am I able, perhaps based on where those creatures were and what I remember, do I have any sense of of what direction I might have come from the edge of the forest?
Do you think that you know the direction you came from? It's just that when you look back that way, it doesn't look familiar. It's like the forest has changed behind you.
What is it with this land? I stand and take a few tentative steps, 6, 8, 10 steps in the direction that I think I came from. What do I see? Any change?
Roll me a perception check. As you step back into the direction you came from, it only grows darker. Now, it's still thunderstorming and the rain's still coming down. You're getting soaked, but the canopy above you is so thick that it does shield a good portion of the rain from your body. And it's then as your hand brushes against the leaves of a bush that you notice something strange. Here, in the direction that you're walking, the bark of trees, the bushes, the ground itself, everything seems to be pulsing slowly, rhythmically. The wind picks up a few of the leaves from the forest floor and they blow around in a slow circle. And the speed at which they blow is the same slow rhythm as a breath in, and the leaves fall with the breath out. The leaves rise with it in, and they fall with it out.
I draw Syrian's scimitar from its sheath at my side and command it to glow, hoping that the light will push back the darkness as it's settling in around me.
As you command it to glow, it does light. Roll me an Arcana check. It obeys your commands and it does glow, but there's something a little pink about the light. It's not as bright as it used to be. It's bright enough, though, to push back the shadows. It's bright enough to show another path that you hadn't seen before, a small trail just to your left.
What direction does the trail seem to go?
It seems to wind and twist. You're not sure where it ends, but it seems like it starts in the direction that you would have expected to have come from originally, outside of the forest.
I call out for the others, naming them one by one. And I'm not holding my voice back at this point.
Your voice sounds out. It's a little dulled with how thick the trees are and how heavy the rain is, but there is no reply.
I step out onto the trail that I've noticed and begin to follow it, hopefully in the direction from which I came. I'm being very cautious, though. I'm holding the scimitar before me and very aware of potential places where I might be ambushed or set upon.
Roll me a perception check. As you begin to step down the trail, it does wind. It doesn't stay in a straight line. It takes you deeper and deeper into the woods, and you see in the shadows all around you yellow eyes. Could be the eyes of beasts, small forest creatures, or something else. Should you shine your light at the eyes, though, they vanish. You don't see any sign of the animals that seem to be there in the dark. You find yourself turning around, watching around you, and then you step out into something that's almost like a clearing. It's still densely wooded, but there's a little bit more space. And it's there that you see what might be the heart of this forest. Two black, rotting trees intertwined together like dead lovers. And crucified to this tree is what looks like an old, sagging-skinned elf. Pale skin, black veins stretching through his arms, his face. And he's on the tree too.
This is a land of such cruelty. I call out again.
He looks at you.
You live. Do you have the strength to speak?
I live, if you can call it that. Who are you who comes here to me?
I am a follower of the light, and I fear no darkness.
You say so. The trees around you pulse a little faster, like a heartbeat that's picking up. The wind stirs the leaves, the thistle, a little quicker, like a breath that's a little faster. You do not realize what you are yet, do you?
I told you. I'm a follower of the light. I fear no darkness.
You have no reason to fear the darkness in this land. You should embrace it, as all here come to do in time.
I shall not be here long enough.
You are not ready yet, not ready to serve, but you will be. It is good to meet you, Sabria Sunashal.
You know my name? Then why do you ask me who I am?
I wish to know if you are a fool or a liar. I have not decided yet.
I am a follower of the light. I fear no darkness. It is the darkness that fears me. The God that I worship is a good God. He would offer you mercy. Would you like to die?
Very, very much. I would like to die. That is not what waits for me. And what waits for you, you could not even begin to fathom. but my master will show you.
Your master? Who is your master?
The head of the elf drops, sinks back to his chest. He hangs there on the two trees. The answer comes not through his mouth, but through the whispering of the wind as it swirls around you, the pulsing drumbeat of the forest itself. Soth, 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 soth.
I have heard your master's name. It means little to me. I serve my own master, and I serve no other, nor will I.
You continue to hear soth, soth, soth. Make me a dexterity saving throw. You sense it a moment before it slams into you. One of the trunks of the rotting trees nearby you falls, almost crashing onto you. And as you step back, it slams into the ground. And the moment it does, it's like somebody snapped and you woke up from a dream. You find yourself standing there in the woods, but the woods are a little bit lighter. It's still raining. And the tree that you saw, the elf that you saw, is gone.
Am I able to see the forest's edge again?
If you look behind you, you can see the tree line.
I notice it over my shoulder and begin to turn to walk closer to the tree line to see if I can spot my friends. But then I stop and turn back and face the direction that I had been facing before. I am Sabriya Sunashal. I am a follower of the light. I fear no darkness. It is the darkness that fears me. And I turn and walk slowly toward the forest edge. And as I get close to the tree line, I crouch, looking to see what's become of the others.
You crouch at the tree line and you see no sign of your friends. What you do see, that giant, the size of a large hill or a small mountain, lay on the ground beyond the forest's edge, between the two hills, between another road that stretches and twists into the distance, and he lie on his stomach, unmoving, still. If you were to watch for a few seconds, you would not see him rise or move. Parts of his rocky, stony body have broken off, crumbled into pieces. If you didn't know that it had been animated and was alive at least a time ago, to you it would just seem like some ancient ruin in the shape of a man. You don't see your friends. You do see, sticking out of the tree right next to you at the edge of the forest, a dagger.
I reach over and take the dagger in my hand. Am I able to pull it out of the tree?
You can pull it out of the tree. You can see now, as you're taking a look at it, that it has the hilt of a serpent of some sort and two intertwining blades. It's wrought differently than most daggers. There's, as you turn it in the light, something green about the way that the sun glints off of it. And it's then that you realize that at the forest's edge, it's not cloudy, it's not rainy, it's a late afternoon sun. It's like the moment that you stepped out of the forest, the rain stopped.
Does the dagger look familiar to me at all?
That what do I want to make you roll? No, I'm just going to give this to you. Yes, it does look familiar to you. It looks like a blade that you saw years ago. And you're not sure it's the same blade, but it looks similar to a blade that you saw wielded by Kelvin Stonewarden when you went with him into the Lost Tomb.
How strange. I spin the dagger around between my fingers and tuck it into my belt. I'm absently toying with the amulet of the sun that's around my neck, as I often do. They must have defeated the thing. Cautious for a moment before I step out, just looking around the clearing for other movement. But if I don't see any or any sign that I'm being observed, I'll step out into the clearing and begin to see if I can figure out where they've gone.
Go ahead and roll me a perception check. You don't see any sign of them out there, but you hear behind you what sounds like words, and one of the voices sounds very similar, and only because it's so specific, to Rookone, the Minotaur. It seems to be coming not deep, but further into the woods.
Along the trail or along the road? As I recall, there was a road, wasn't there?
In that direction, yeah.
I begin to walk in that direction, and I call out for him, Rookone! Rookone, are you there?
As you approach and call out through the woods, let's cut back to the rest of our companions, just a little further into Stormshire Forest. Last week, Sir Reardon, Rookone, and Noria found a temporary ally in the mysterious dwarf, Kelvin Stonewarden, who Sir Reardon had fought beside him in the War of the Lance. Together, the three of you and Kelvin fought probably the greatest battle you fought so far, at least a battle against the largest thing you fought so far, when you slew the giant that was the size of the mountain. And during the battle, the dagger that Sir Reardon had taken from the streets of Palanthus all the way back in our first episode, the dagger that had belonged to Lorana the Golden General, shattered. And from the shards, shadows rose, and those shadows coalesced into the form of Lorana herself. Like you before her, she was pulled into Nightland. She appeared confused as to where she was or how she'd come there. But before Sir Reardon could get to her, Lord Soth appeared from a shadow of his own, and he enveloped her. Together, they vanished, and Sir Reardon charged. You reached in, but you couldn't get there in time. As they disappeared in front of your eyes, Sir Reardon, the only thing you had was a clump of golden curly hair that belonged to Lorana. After the battle, Kelvin seemed to wither and turn to dust right before Honoria's eyes, and it seemed as though the group would splinter, with Sir Reardon determined to go after Lord Soth, determined to rescue Lorana immediately at any cost. But Rookone and Honoria managed to convince him to promise to help them find their friend Avrin, who had been missing. Reardon gave Honoria 3 days to execute whatever plan she had to weaken Lord Soth's power, and then the knight swore that he would save Lorana's soul from Lord Soth. At the start of this scene, Sir Reardon, Rookone, and Honoria, you've unearthed the body of Avrin. You found her. She was buried just a few inches in soft dirt in the forest. As we join them now, Avrin's eyes flutter open, and she takes in a deep, desperate gasp of air.
Avrin. Are you with me? Are you okay? What do you need? What do you need? Don't move. Rest.
Yeah, she just continues breathing raggedly. Even as you hold her, she's bleeding heavily onto your arms.
Somebody get me some water. Anyone?
Honoria will reach to her side and hand over her water skin, her spellbook still in her hand as she is furiously trying to commit arcane words to memory in the small, short time that they have. One might even say a short rest.
Some might say that, and Greg would much like to know whether the DM says that, as I am rocking a single digits right here.
Yeah, I'll give you all a short rest since the giant fight. Not a long rest. Except for Avrin. Avrin, you are at 1 hit point currently. You are injured. You have the injured condition, which means your hit points are half. Their maximum is halved, and you have 1 level of exhaustion. That's the situation Avrin's in right now.
If I were to look up to the skies, is it nighttime, daytime?
Right now, it's the rain has stopped a little bit, and now it's just sprinkling, but it had been raining. It was late afternoon when you entered into the forest and began your search. You haven't been here that long, but it seems much darker inside Stormshire Forest than it did outside of it.
What happened? What do you remember?
And you immediately see her composure start to crumple as tears start to run down her face. Brings up her hands to cover.
Riordan would look around over his shoulder. There'll be time enough for that later. If we are going to do this, we need to clear this place. Find somewhere more defensible. Everything here speaks of evil.
Avrin, I need you to hold on just a bit longer. He lifts her up, looks at Riordan. Where do you suggest?
I suggest north, but the rest of you have decided upon another course of action. I say we continue along the road to whatever city it was that we were going to uncover.
Sir Reardon, you would know that, at least to the best of your memory, this was the way you took when you marched to the town of Throttle. Now, the signpost that you read, the road that you've been following, says you're approaching a town called Harthalen. You're not familiar with that town.
Let us be gone from this place. If we need to create a litter to carry Averin, do so quickly. I will keep watch.
What of Sabria?
What of her?
Are any of you adept at tracking?
There are not woods where I come from. I can try, but I'm preoccupied.
Sir Reardon doesn't answer.
I can't do it to myself, so fuck you. Can't cast the action on myself with my new boon. That's great, buddy. Okay, I guess I'll just take a look around with my own eyes. May I please look for humanoid footprints in a place that I've never been with no previous tracking experience done?
Yeah, we'll call it perception rather than nature.
Oh, that's nice of you. That's not great.
You don't see much in the way of tracks or whatnot. You can see, only because you're so close to it, a dirt road that seems to stretch in general in a northwest and in a southeast direction. But I will say you hear another round of light sing-songy laughter.
Rukon perks up. Is that her? Sabria?
Have you ever known Sabria to sing?
No, but it could be. Sabria!
Afrin will put up our hand to Rook-On and will kind of just...
We are not exactly at our best right now. Perhaps, dear friend, shouting out our location. It's not wise.
Reardon will move from his position at the outer ring. He will slide Absolution back into its sheath on his back, and he will offer a forearm and a shoulder to Averin. Can you walk?
I think I can.
Roll me a Constitution saving throw. You try to walk. If you try to walk, you'll find that you're stronger than you thought you were. Because of a donation that I just saw come in chat, you actually are no longer injured. You lose your injury condition. So your max hit points are full again. You still have your level of exhaustion. You're still at 1 hit point currently, but you're stronger than you thought you were, and you think you can walk.
Yeah, she'll definitely kind of prop herself using Reardon's help. Have to be careful around here.
Understood. If something had the ability and strength to cause you problems, they are a worthy foe indeed.
Can any of us track in the woods?
I have already attempted to do so.
We should move towards whatever respite this town provides. If the priestess is still out there, she will find us. If she isn't, walking through this wood, we will find her end before we will find this city.
Before the chaos erupted, I know that I got a pretty decent look at Sabria. If I were to kind of attempt to go into my mind's eye and not deal with my companions at the moment right in front of me, and look and replace myself in that situation, could I at least get a direction in which I think she was heading?
So she would have been right around the same area. And I'll even say at this point, Kiana, give me a perception check. All of you hear again this round of laughter, this childlike laughter. This time it comes from a different side. If it was to your left before, it's now to your right. Averin, you especially understand this laughter, and you hear behind you the rustling of leaves.
Be on the lookout, there's many. And they're around. When they swarm,
Avrin, right as you say that, Sabria steps out of the woods right behind you, having heard Rukon call out loudly throughout the woods. But for a second, as she appears where she wasn't before, your mind flashes back to that scene, those creatures on top of you, you reaching your hand out for your friend Leerily, her looking down at your hand, and her turning and abandoning you, and everything that happened after that. But it's Sabria that steps out of the woods.
My scimitar has been at the ready, but I hold my hands up and allow it to drop into kind of a reverse grip. It's just me.
When I hear her voice, I would like to look over her from top to bottom and bottom to top again to make sure that it is indeed her.
Are you using your eyes? What are you doing
I'm
here?
just using my plain eyesight right now, as we are probably going to hang on to every little bit of magic that we have at the moment.
It's as you remember her, she doesn't look different. Sabria hasn't changed anything about her appearance, and it hasn't been that long. It's only been a couple of hours since the last time you saw her.
Sir Reardon, it is your lucky day.
Rukon turns to her and his vision narrows. Where were you?
I lower my hands and sheathe my blade. I stepped into the woods, encountered a few creatures, but dispatched them. Avrin, you were with me for a moment and then you left.
Mistake.
Are you all right?
No. But this is not the place. Not when those things are around.
No. No, it's not.
Come on then. And Riordan begins to walk towards the town.
All right, Sir Riordan, roll me a perception check. And again, that laughter echoes out through the woods. It trickles between the trees. It's a little bit closer now. And as you take your first step, the earth beneath your feet shifts. You almost slip as though you were slipping in the mud, but it's not really that muddy beneath your feet. And then you all feel a light rumble of dirt beneath you. And then it stops.
I'd like to pull my cloak around me, and with the cloud cover and my friends looking at each other, take a moment to just kind of slip behind a tree and start sidestepping and try to blend into the shadows, as I have a very bad feeling rising up in the pit of my stomach.
Does Rukon notice that?
Notice what? First slip off.
Yeah.
Roll me a stealth check.
A stealth for Rukon to notice?
No, for Honoria.
It's a 17.
Yeah, so I think that's higher than your passive perception. So no. I think she slips off. As a matter of fact, with a 17, I don't think any of you notice Honoria slip off into the shadows of the tree line. But you do all sense again, after a moment, that shifting of the earth beneath your feet. And then Avrin, to your side, to your right, you see 3 of those small kender, paled-faced figures just standing there between 2 trees, smiling.
My grip on Reardon involuntarily tightens, and she's shaking.
Reardon won't turn and like shield her. That's not this. She is a comrade. He will turn and square shoulder to shoulder with Averin, and he will, however, put his gauntleted left arm that has the U of metal in his hand out and sort of like mom seatbelt her a bit as he keeps absolution fully drawn. We need to leave this place now.
What are we doing in this moment? Are we moving down the road? Are we running? Are we...
I'll be moving as fast as my companions can from the side, keeping an eye on them.
All right.
Reardon will take the rear, keeping himself in between the visible enemies and the rest of the group.
Rukon will notice what's going on and take the front with shield drawn at the ready.
And Sabria?
And I'll be close behind Rukon, also with weapons drawn.
As you move further into the woods, further down this road, that thunderstorm with a crack starts again. And when it does, you notice that these kender, not just 3, but 3 here and 4 there and 3 there, are all holding hoopax. Now, hoopax are they're a staff that the kender are known to use. They're barely taller than the kender themselves, and they're topped with a sling on one end and a sharp spike on the other. And as these kender hold these hoopax, they begin to twirl and spin them very nimbly between their fingers. And as they do, the slings pick up speed and they begin to make a high-pitched whining sound. It's almost like a scream. It's extremely uncomfortable to listen to, and they don't move. They continue to watch you, but you feel the earth beneath your feet shift again. And then from the ground, just like the burrows that Avrin and Sabria saw before, creatures begin to expose themselves from all directions, pulling away from the dirt with clacking mandibles and fleshy bodies that look like their torsos have been opened up to reveal blue, pale blue tendrils of flesh and internal organs. Their maws themselves, though they have mandibles, they look like at the sides, their faces have been split open so that if you were to take their face and push it back together, it would look very much like one of these kender creatures. And in fact, even as you're standing there and more of these things begin to pop out all around you as you're moving down the roadside, even the ones spinning their hoopax and screaming with their weapons begin to change. Their faces begin to split open until these insectoid insides appear. I need you all to make me initiative rolls. All right. Rukon and Sabria, I'm going to let you choose now which one of you which order you guys want to go in.
All right, I'll go first.
Okay. All right. Rokon, and then perfect. So as this is happening, more and more of these creatures are beginning to stand up all around you. It's not 6 of them, it's dozens of them. It's a swarm of vampiric kender, these insectoid monstrous creatures. And Honoria, you will act first, and you are, to the best of your knowledge, slightly further away and still hidden.
I am going to touch the diamond Dremel on the back of my neck and clutch my spell book to the side and dip out from behind a tree. Korak Limberham, and throw not a fireball, but a ball of fire, chromatic orb at one of the kender.
All right, take your shot.
For hopefully a 19 hits one of these.
A
Beautiful
19 will hit. And so we know this. We're going by swarm rules too. So this is all one creature that we're fighting here, mechanically.
Oh, well then. 17 points of fire damage.
So
And
your ball of chromatic orb. What are you trying to do? Are you trying to just strike out randomly, or are you?
I'm essentially trying to highlight it so it makes it easier for my friends to hit it. But at the same time, I feel alive. Because it is the 23rd of January 2019, I believe that means that I can cast Toll the Dead as a bonus action as New Atari is highest in the sky at the moment.
This is the first night of Nutari. That is correct.
Oh, did they change this? Oh, no, okay, sorry. Give me a moment. I must pass a wisdom save or take necrotic damage.
They score a 16.
Oh, that beats my spell save DC.
All right. What's she doing with the rest of her turn?
I'm going to continue to stay hidden or attempt to hide on the outline. So going from like tree to tree, running, throwing a Toll the Dead, clasping, whipping my cloak around in the very Strahd-like manner, and running between the trees.
So the chromatic orb launches and it strikes two of the creatures, one of them just burrowing out of the ground, not even fully out yet, and it melts half of this creature's face. It strikes another one as well and sets what's left of the clothes it once wore in life on fire, and they begin to burn. Meanwhile, more and more of these things on its turn explode out of the ground, and at this point they have surrounded Rookone, Sir Reardon, Sabria, and Avrin. Honoria, you're just outside of the swarm, hidden off on the end, and they are going to attack. Let's see here if they make this. So one of their attacks is going to be a hoopak attack against Honoria as she's moving. And that is going to be a 27 for 12 bludgeon damage as you are struck by multiple stones as these ones on the periphery swing their hoopaks at you.
I take 12 bludgeoning damage, and that hurts a lot. Feeling the strike of those miserable little bastards. Honoria feels rage enter her heart.
The other kender, as they're burrowing out of the ground, they're leaping and tearing at Rookone and Sabria with tooth, with mandible and claw. It's going to be a 27 versus Rookone and a 15 versus Sabria. Do those both hit?
It's a hit
It
to
also.
All right, so it'll be 8 slashing damage to each of you and 14 poison damage to each of you. And I need you each to make me a Constitution saving throw.
Sorry, what?
Oh, not Honoria.
Okay,
You don't-
I was like,
this is Sabria and Rookone. All right, so you both pass your Constitution saving throws with 16s, which is good because for a moment you feel, if you fought certain types of creatures before, you know this poisonous feeling. You feel your joints lock up. You almost feel like you're about to freeze and tip over and fall to the ground, but you manage to fight through it. That's their turn. Now, Avrin, at the start of your turn, because you are within the swarm, I do need you to make me a charisma saving throw.
We're going to use one of my inspirations.
Okay, that's right. You have some.
A 12.
So as you are staring at these creatures, again, flashbacks of the last time you faced them, not long ago, you remember them burying you in the ground. You didn't know, you had no reason to believe that anyone would come for you. You remember falling asleep, not being able to breathe, and here they are again in more number than you saw them before. And you suffer for this turn a disadvantage on all attacks and saving throws until the start of your next turn. And this is a one-time effect, but it is your turn.
Oh, man. Avon really doesn't want to be here. She's just almost died at the strange insectoid mouths of these things. Yeah, she's gonna do the rogue thing and disengage and nope, out of there.
All right. They will get an attack of opportunity against you because of how big their because they're a swarm. You can't just shift 5 feet and run.
All right.
I'm at a 17.
Yep.
All right, make me a Constitution saving throw.
Dawn,
8 slashing damage. Yes.
because Avrin was right beside Riordan, with swarm rules, when they try to attack her, can he free her up with Sentinel? Like, cut to...
Oh, interesting. Yes, yeah, I'll let you do that if you want to try to use your opportunity attack to stop them.
Yes, please. He's going to try
Absolutely.
to... If a couple of them reach for her, he's going to try to take their arms off. Yeah, he's going to bust out precision.
All right.
12.
It's not enough.
Okay.
We do have plot armor just came in for Averin. So as you're running, these things are chasing you. And as before, they're fast for their size, for how short their legs are. You can see their drowned skin-colored tendrils flapping against their bodies as their mandibles click. You can feel their yellowed claws digging into you. You will take 8 slashing damage and 14 poison damage, but you will not suffer the effects of the poison beyond the damage. So is Averin, I think Averin's still up, right?
Yeah, she just got another plot armor. How much total again was that? Oh, sorry.
22 total.
Okay, yeah, she's still up.
Okay, so they're digging into you, but you're able to push them off of you, to kick one of these kender creatures off of you, and you are able to burst out from within this swarm, even as they're grasping at you. Are you running in the direction of the town? Or are you running in the direction, are you running away from the town?
Probably towards the town, if that's where we were going or planning to go.
All right. You start off in that direction. You are being chased, but they're not to you yet. And that's the end of Averin's turn. That brings us to Sabria.
Given my experience with them in the recent past, is it my sense that these are undead creatures?
Yeah, you can sense that these are undead creatures.
I reach up and take that medallion in my hand. I close my eyes and reach out with my right, uttering a prayer under my breath and seeking to turn these undead creatures.
I'm going to use one of the 3 inspirations that I've been granted for this swarm on this saving throw. It'd be a 22.
Yes, that saves.
And so as you try to summon the spirit of Syrian and push back these creatures with the will of your god, you hear a feminine laughter echoing in the back of your mind, and you feel cut off from your god. You feel your blood boiling, that feeling you felt just a short while ago coming back to you, and then it too is gone, and you are not able to connect with your god or summon their power.
I am not made fearful by this. I'm made angry by it. Are the others, other than Avrin, the others haven't acted, so they're not moving.
Right now, you, Sir Reardon, and Rookone are all within the boundaries of this swarm, and they're kind of moving in towards you now. A few ran off towards Avrin, a few are on the edge, throwing stones from their hoopax, but the majority of this group of undead creatures are pressing towards the center where the three of you are.
Well, I've used my action at this point, so I will be keeping my eyes open for attacks against the others, and potentially using warding flare to protect them if necessary.
Great. At the end of your turn, make me a strength saving throw.
I'm going to use inspiration on this save.
Okay. So 14 is still not enough to keep this pile of kender. They're stronger than they look. They have the strength of the undead, and they are grabbing at you. They're trying to grapple you, to hold you down. And even as you're pushing back and fighting back against them, there's more and more, and you feel them pin your arms to your side. You are grappled by the swarm at the end of your turn.
Fine.
We go to Rookone.
So with a claustrophobic sense, they're closing in around him, and his throat jumps up into his head and tightens, and his breathing gets tighter, and the blood vessels burst in his eyes, and he starts to fight off what's coming, but he cannot. And his muscles tense up, and his neck turns, and then the whites of his eyes go completely red, and he wants to use his movement to move 5 feet away from Sabria to try to use his forearm and shove with his shield away to push back into the horde.
Okay, so he's pushing further into the center of this horde, where they're the thickest. These creatures are the thickest.
Correct. And then his teeth snarl, and he rears up. Break before me! And he lifts his shield up over his head and slams it down on the ground for the Dwarven Shield of the Hammer special ability.
Oh, yes. So this is the shield that you were given by a certain dwarven friend named Albin Shortlock Hammerfist, and this does have a magical property. So they're going to make a strength saving throw.
Against 19.
And they will fail.
And so they take... let me roll it.
It's pushback damage.
I should have done that, but it was too late.
If you want to do it, I'll let you do it.
Yeah, I'll spend 2 inspiration to do max damage.
A good time. All right, so you slam your shield onto the ground, and when you do, there's a piercing sound. It's not a high pitch sound. It's more of a thrum in the middle pitch, and you can feel it. All of you can feel this sound push against your body as leaves blow off of the ground. Smaller trees bend away from the force of this sound, and these creatures are thrown back away from you. Now, a swarm can't be knocked prone because there's just too many of them, but they will take the maximum of 30 force damage from this attack. And narratively, what happens is where they are the thickest, those are thrown the furthest away from you. And they slam back into trees and into the ground, and you have the rest of your turn still.
And I'm going to unsheathe my scimitar and stand ready to dive in.
All right, and that was a bonus action too. Are you taking an attack or anything?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Going to swing with Hasgranath's scimitar.
That will be a miss. So you go to swing, and as you do, one of these creatures grabs your arm and it's holding you back. Is this the end of your turn?
Yes.
Make a strength saving throw for me.
I'm at advantage, or athletics, or strength saving? Sorry.
Strength saving throw, yeah. And like with Sabria, these creatures begin to grab around your ankles, your thighs. You feel their claws piercing into your skin. The one that has your scimitar hand pulls it back, and it's just as strong as you are, even though it's small. You are grappled at the end of your turn. Sir Riordan, it is your turn.
So, seeing a situation devolve quickly on the battlefield is unfortunately something that Riordan is familiar with. And as soon as he would see the priestess pulled down and grappled, does he believe he can free her with attacks against the ones around? Is this something that if he strikes...
He could use the help action so that on her turn, she could free herself, but he can't free her from a grapple alone.
Okay, then he is going to make himself as big a target as possible. At this point, he is going for, hopefully, Avrin and Honoria will be able to get away. But as he wades into them, his eyes hold north as he looks towards where he should be. We had something come in, I didn't see it.
It's for me.
Oh,
don't worry.
Great. Awesome. Just love it. So great. All right, so I'm attacking the swarm. Boy, oh boy. This is a bad idea. 13. I'm going to spend another superiority. 18 to hit.
18 makes that a hit.
Okay, I get to re-roll that one. So that would be 7, 11, plus the 5 would be 16 for the first attack. So, all right. Yeah, 16 damage for the first attack. Second attack, 22.
That's a hit.
10, re-roll that one. Still another one. So that's a 10 there, so 26. And then he's going to action surge because I just can't seem to keep those as he goes deeper in, trying to cut towards the bull. 19.
Okay. 19's a hit.
Come on, give me a 6. Oh, 2. Darn it. Another 11. And he's going to cast a superiority die into that as well. I know I can't trip this group, but I am going to do it to I'm going to do a fainting attack using this superiority die. So whoever goes next will have advantage on the strike against. Can I do that against a swarm?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So as you're cutting through, and you cut through one of these creatures, two of these creatures, a third one has just climbed up the trunk of a nearby tree. It leaps off of the tree at you, and you swing your sword and you catch it right before it lands on top of you. You cleave it in half. Then you do your fainting strike. How are you giving them advantage? How does that work?
See, Lord Pathwarden used to travel with a kender. In fact, his sergeant was a kender. And he knows there's one thing that even undead kender, perhaps it'll work. And with one hand, as he smashes away the flying kender, he pulls out the lock of hair that is wrapped around his wrist, and he dangles it like the shiny object that it is. Here! Here! And then he attacks with his last attack.
Excellent.
Woo! That's a nat 1.
Go ahead, and this is the end of his turn.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make me a strength saving throw, and I want you to make this at disadvantage because of the nat 1 that you just rolled.
Can I use an inspiration to make it a regular roll?
Absolutely, and you just had an inspiration come in too, so you still have 1 left after this.
Okay. 10.
Just like with the other two, these creatures, even though you're cutting many of them down, and you're fighting your way through and knocking others back, they keep coming, more burrow out of the earth, and several of them wrap themselves around you, and you feel yourself being pulled towards the ground, and you are grappled at the end of your turn.
As he's being pulled down, he will just yell into the night sky, "Run!"
Noria, it is your turn.
Healing. And I fly up, bolting up into the sky, turning to see Riordan just being swarmed on, swinging wildly with absolution and Tengus Uf Matai. I throw a Toll of the Dead, hoping that I can do something that will aid him, but I need to get away from these kender and their evil hoopax.
So that is
Wisdom saving throw.
13 from them.
They do not make it to eat my 2d12 damage. For a total of 15.
15 necrotic damage.
Oh, that's true. I just healed them, didn't I?
It doesn't heal them, but it's not as effective as it could be. If anything, it confuses them, which is not nothing. It does something.
Sorry, buddy. I don't have much more I can do for you. But I'm up in the air, at least.
All right. You're flying now, and you can see as you take off towards the top of the tree line, you can see out a little bit further beyond the swarm, Avrin, her feet pumping. As weak as she is, she's throwing her weight forward to get away from these creatures, even as they're continuing to press towards her. It is the end of your turn, correct? Or do you have anything else you can do? All right. So with it being the swarm's turn, they're going to do 2 attacks versus Rakon, and 1 attack versus Sabria. It'll be a 20. I think they're all going to be hits. That's the lowest one's a 22. So Rakon and Sabria, make me Constitution saving throws.
I'll use inspiration here again.
17 for Rukon.
It's going to be 22 total damage to Sabria, and it's going to be 44 total damage to Rakon. Is now that they have you, they are ripping into you. Now this is because Rakon's raging, I know it matters what the breakdown is. So it's going to be 16 slashing damage and 28 poison damage.
In what I forgot against the giant, in Bear Totem, I'm halved against all but psychic.
Oh, great. So it doesn't actually matter. Yeah, so you'll only take a total of 22 then with after it being halved. And Sabria, with the failed Constitution saving throw, this time the poison coursing through your body begins to slow you down, and you are affected by the slowed condition. You have the feeling that if this gets worse, you won't be able to move at all. You'll be paralyzed. That is their turn. They continue to center around the three of you. A couple of them are running towards Avrin, but they don't catch up. And as Avrin continues to run, they turn back to join the main group. Avrin, it is now your turn.
As soon as she thinks that she can feel them kind of pull away, she's ducking behind a tree, using cunning action to hide. And she is going to hold a shot with her bow and arrow if she if she's able to get a clear shot on the swarm getting one of her friends.
All right. I'll give you this right now. They're going to get your friends.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out which
Which ones?
Yeah, which probably Reardon, because he wasn't looking so hot when I saw him.
Absolutely. Go ahead and roll me a stealth check, and then go ahead and take your attack.
Nat 20.
You will have advantage on this.
Cool. 24.
That advantage helps a lot. That is a hit.
Okay, so that is going to be 4 points of damage, but I'm also going to sneak attack on this. 16 on top of that.
Beautiful.
Max damage.
So for 20 total points of damage, you shoot an arrow off, and two of the kender that are just about to sink their teeth into Reardon, it strikes through the back of each of their skulls, and in turn it lines up perfectly. And Sir Reardon, you feel the bodies of these undead creatures thrashing, their tendrils writhing around in front of you. Their bodies fall against you, bounce off of you, and fall to the earth. They continue to writhe. They're not dead. These are undead creatures. They're not easy to kill, but you certainly helped out Sir Reardon for the moment. Are you staying there at the end of your turn, or to continue to be a part of it, or are you going to turn and run again?
She's going to stay there.
All right. Sabria, it's your turn. At the top of your turn, because you are grappled, you will take 8 piercing damage, and you will take 10 necrotic damage. These creatures begin to feed on you now. And you've dealt with undead creatures before. You know what these things are. Even though they don't look like vampires, they are vampires. You can see as you bleed, they're lapping at your blood. They're drinking it. You're grappled, but you can fight the grapple. You have your full turn per normal.
Enough. And I let that boiling in my blood boil over. And as I hear the laughter of the Jackal Queen echoing in my ears, even though I can't move my arms, my hands, my palms strain upward to press out against them. And I cast Aura of Madness at level 4.
At level 4, let me ask you this. Do you have, how many level 4 spell slots do you have?
I have 2, having just leveled up.
Now, having just leveled up, perfect. So I don't have to make you the bargain that I was going to make you.
No.
Your spell.
No, sir.
All right. Do you have that spell in Roll20?
Yeah.
I think it's there. A saving throw.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and are you focusing as you do this on all the creatures in your area, or on just these creatures?
Just these undead kender vampires.
They begin to turn on each other as you summon this energy. And Rookon and Sir Reardon, you can feel the heat coming off of Sabria. Honoria, you can sense a dark magic pouring out of this holy priestess. But I think a 16 passes your saving throw. And even as they start to turn on each other, they break away and they turn back towards you. And you know you didn't get them yet. You would have to try again.
What I got?
Are you... That's the end of your turn? Nothing with bonus action or whatnot?
Am I at 1 hit point? Yes, Don, I am at 1 hit point.
Oh, okay, good.
Since you asked.
Cool. That means it's Rookon's turn. Rookon, at the top of your turn, you take 10 necrotic damage and 8 piercing damage as these creatures begin to feed on you. And their mandibles are piercing the skin of your thigh, raking your face.
Enjoy it while it lasts, scumbags. So Rukon, furious, hating the notion of restraint, fights through the grapple, and fighting through this grapple is the action?
Yeah, it takes an action to break a grapple.
Now, would that be athletics, or are you going to make me do a strength saving throw?
No, athletics.
All right.
But I am going to use one of my 2 remaining inspirations against you.
Good luck, pal.
You have 3, Don.
God, son of a...
21. I got a 21. You beat me.
I sure fucking did.
I have 3. That's good. So you are able to, you're throwing these creatures off of you, even as they jump off of each other, off of trees, even as they're climbing up your back, and you can hear the snap, snap, snap right at the back of your ears. You do manage to swing around and throw all of them off of you for a moment, and for a moment, you're freed.
Okay, so that was my main action. As bonus action, without using attack as a main action, I'm remarkably limited. But I am going to use my cunning action as a bonus action to dash away, or okay, and that would provoke an attack of opportunity.
It just depends. Are you trying to run out of their range, like run away from the entire swarm?
I'm trying to close in on... I'd actually want to move closer to Sabria.
That's not an attack of opportunity, then.
Okay.
You can do that.
And then... and yeah, that's it. That's all I can do.
So you reach Sabria, and these creatures are on top of her. And as you do at the end of your turn, it is... you got something else?
Yeah. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to spend 3 inspiration for a second main action.
Yes!
All right.
And I'm going to attack the ones that are swarming Sabria.
Absolutely.
All right. With Hasgranath's scimitar. And
are you using Goring Rush or using the scimitar?
Is there enough space between us to justify using Goring Rush?
Yeah.
All right. Then, shit, yeah, I'm going to use Goring Rush to try to snowplow these motherfucking vampire kenders.
Go, go, Recon Ranger.
All right, let me see. I have advantage. Let me do this thing. 19.
That is a hit.
Okay. And then I'm... All right. 1 inspiration short of max damage on that bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to roll...
You still have 2.
I have 2? I took... Okay. Cool. Yeah, then I'm going to max damage that, which would be Uh, 15. 21 damage.
All right. And is this a hammering horns as well?
Yeah, for bonus.
All right. So they are for reaction. They roll a 12 on their strength saving throw.
Which is less than a 19.
All right. So you are able to push this group of kender off of Sabria. It does break the grapple on Sabria. And you said you did a total of how much damage?
21.
All right. Yeah, so you plow into this small group of kender. Sabria, you feel Rokon's body over top of yours, and you're kind of still dazed coming out of this poison. You're able to push yourself back up to your feet, and for the moment, you are both freed from the grasp of these creatures. That's the end of your turn. Sir Reardon, at the beginning of your turn, you take 8 slashing damage and 10 necrotic damage as they continue to feed on you.
Groovy. Okay. 8 slashing, 10 necrotic. All right, so I just saw that everyone got a chance to get away.
Everybody they're not out of the woods yet, but they have the chance to on their next turn. They've broken the grapple. And you're the only one still right now held by these creatures in their grasp. Now you have thinned the herd considerably at this point. There's far fewer of these things, and the things that are still moving, a lot of them are very wounded.
Okay, so I can still do my attacks. I'm not restrained, right? I'm just grappled. I can still produce attacks.
That's right. You can still attack.
Then what Sir Reardon would do is, if he, even though he knows that Rokon is lost inside the burst blood vessels, if he makes eye contact with the bull, he will take absolution and draw it to his chest for a moment and simply say, "Run." And I want to attack, and I want to use a goading strike on the entire horde to see if I can break my friends free.
All right, yeah. Take your attack.
19.
19's enough to hit. They make a wisdom saving throw.
They do, which will be
a 14.
I think that doesn't. Give me a second. I'm so nervous. I can't stop crying. Oh no, darn it. It's on this one. DC 15. Is that what you rolled?
Oh, I rolled a 14.
DC 15.
You see, you have these kender still on you, swarming you, and as you strike with absolution and call out, you see the rest of the horde turn away from Sabria and Rokon, and they all turn towards you.
Okay, so that one's going to stay in 8, but the superiority die goes on top of it, so that'd be a 12 damage to whatever he strikes. And with the second attack, he's going in and just trying to just drive and goad and draw the attention of these kender to him. 21.
That's a hit.
There we go. Some max, and I'm throwing another superiority into that. Damn. So 17 additional damage into the horde as the knight is going to stay as long as he can. Buy his friend some time.
So you cut down several more that are swarming to you, and others are rushing at you. You can see the ones who have fed on you and fed on your friends, the ones who have lapped up their blood. Their stomachs are swollen, gorged with the feeding that they've done. They look stronger than the others amongst the swarm, and they are coming for you. That's the end of your turn. Honoria, it is your turn.
Above seeing my friends running for their lives and the knight stupidly fighting in the center, I touch the Dremel once again to the back of my neck and raise my hand up as high as I can with the last bit of magic I'd only pulled to my body but moments before. And I throw down Korak Lingaran, another fireball just into the center of this mass. And if it hits, I'm going to use my final 2 inspiration to do max damage. So please, 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 just hit.
By the way, no one used it, so you get advantage. Okay. I was going to say,
Yep.
because my fate was never used, yeah.
Nobody else attacked. That is a hit.
All right, so that's going to be a total of 24 fire damage. And right after that, I am going to launch out with a ray of frost as Nuitari is high in the air. Does a 25 hit? And
That
if
hits.
so, 7 points of cold damage. And sweat is bursting out of every pore in Honoria as she no longer has an ounce of the weave inside of her. She looks up to the sky and Nuitari for guidance, and then back down to someone that she could almost call friend, and gives him what she imagines a final salute.
And as she burns away and freezes more and more of these creatures, the ball of chromatic energy melting 3 of them, their flesh burning away from whatever insectoid insides they have, several of them begin to fall back. Not the entire swarm, but those that step out towards the periphery. You see their faces, once split, reform, and as they do, it's the smiling face of pale Kender once again. They're watching those few remaining in the center as they tear towards Sir Reardon. They haven't left yet, but they're starting to disperse. It is their turn, and they will take 3 attacks. I'm going to do 2 on Sir Reardon and 1 on Roko. That's going to be a 23, a 13 for Sir Reardon. So
13
I
doesn't
think
hit.
it's, yep. Make me a Constitution saving throw, and Rokon, make me a Constitution saving throw as a 28 hits.
I'm going to use my last inspiration on this Constitution.
All right.
21 for Rukon.
You both pass your Constitution. 8 slashing damage, or 4 slashing damage, and 7 poison damage is what you each will take.
What was the total on that?
11.
All right. So be it. By the way, Don, one of them missed me.
That's correct.
So I would like to attack 14, and I'm going to use my last superiority die. 15? Damn it! How many ones have I rolled with superiority?
Balance, buddy.
Come on now.
So,
Don't talk about such things.
Perhaps
Bad.
exhausted from fighting a giant just a couple of hours earlier. So Reardon, you're feeling a little sluggish, a little slower than normal. You do fight off the effects of the poison, but your counterattack just cuts weakly through the air. You feel a little faint on your feet. That is the end of their turn. Avran, it is your turn.
She is again still behind that tree. She's shaking, but she's gonna swallow that fear down a bit. Step out and shoot again at the kind of they're still engaged with Reardon.
All right.
I'm gonna use this 17.
17 just hits.
Okay. Would I be able to use max damage on the sneak attack?
If you use max damage, it works for the entire attack, including the
Okay.
sneak attack.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that then.
All right, so
couple
you use
spaces.
inspiration to have advantage, and then you're
Yeah.
spending 2 more. So you have 2 inspiration left, and you deal.
Mhm.
What's your total max damage there?
Total max damage is 24 plus 9, so 33.
Now, Dawn, I've got a question.
Yes.
No one used my feint attack yet, and when you use it, you get the die that was rolled as damage. Can Avrin use that die as part of her pool that gets bumped? I rolled a 5. That's up to you. She didn't roll that. I rolled that. It's supposed to be added to the damage of whoever would attack the horde next.
Absolutely. So that makes it 38, correct? Fantastic. So you fire a bow, and again, you hit one of these creatures that's been feeding on Sir Reardon, and it's gotten fat, and it looks larger than it looked before, but your arrow strikes it straight through what you think might be its heart, and as it does, it begins to writhe, to shake and convulse, and it actually, you see its face, its chitinous flesh begin to burn, and it falls away from Sir Reardon. Again, more and more of these creatures are dispersing to the edge of the swarm, just watching as the few that are left enraged in the middle are all still turned towards Sir Reardon. Is that the end of Avrin's turn?
Cunning action back behind the tree.
Sabria, it is your turn.
And feel the blood flowing down my lips and down my chin at this point from the exertion of that failed attempt. And in my anger, I allow it to completely take hold. Mechanically, I'm using my boon, Blood of the Jackal Queen. Once per day, you may spend a bonus action and gain 1d4 corruption to immediately gain an equal number of spell slots of any level.
That was the bargain I was talking about. So, do you want to roll the 1d4? Oh,
I'll just take the one. It's all I need.
Just take the one.
How many
All
are
right.
left?
There's probably about half a dozen still fighting towards Sir Reardon. They're turned away from you now. The others are on the edge of this swarm, still within the range of your spell.
Okay. I'm not intending to cast that spell again, though. Is
Okay.
there of the ones that remain? How many are at a what I would think is a safe distance from Sir Reardon?
About 6 of them.
And and how many are on Sir Reardon?
About the same amount.
And last, how is Sir Reardon looking to me right now?
I don't know. How is Sir Reardon looking?
Like a fucking god.
It sounded like he said fine.
Yeah, he's
Fine.
totally fine.
Sorry, I was muted for you guys, but chat heard. I said like a fucking god. But I'm...
Uh-huh.
Okay, I will tell you this. If Sir Reardon were asked, how does he feel 1 out of 100, he's a strong 31 right now.
My hands come up, and I sight at the entire swarm of them, and uttering a quiet prayer under my breath, I cast I cast Fireball.
Yes, you do. Sir Reardon, you also get to make a dexterity saving throw.
I see it coming, though, don't I? Right? Yes?
Yes.
I do.
Yeah, I would say so.
And I'm doing this at that that single. Oh no.
That natural
Fourth
20,
level.
the natural 20 was the saving throw of the vampiric kender.
Thanks.
So as this fireball unleashes, it rolls towards what's left of this group that's still fighting. It explodes, burning flesh, burning Sir Reardon, but also burning these creatures too, even as they jump away. They only take half damage. Sir Reardon, are you still up?
I
After
am.
20 fire damage. So as the smoke begins to clear, these creatures are sneaking back, those that aren't dead or writhing on the ground, soon to die. They move back towards the edge of the periphery, and you see all of the kender, about a dozen of them left in this swarm, start to step back into the woods away from you. They're still watching you.
Do any of them slink back away from me?
Absolutely.
Can I make a grapple attack of opportunity?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
All right. And do I have? Am I close enough for flanking?
No, we're flanking for a grapple attack. Yeah, we'll say you can.
Well,
can do that.
I'm raging, so it's advantage on athletics, anyways.
Okay, doesn't matter then. They scored a 19.
Get ready for this shit. Well. All right, so I reach for one in my rage, trying to grasp these tiny, puny bitches, and they slip beneath my fingers.
And what happens is you grab some of those fleshy things that are sticking out of their open stomachs, and you pull them out. It's like you're pulling out something that might have once been an organ. And they just walk backwards as though they're unfazed. You have it in your hand, and they're slinking back towards the shadowy edge of the woods. We're out of combat now. They're going to disappear. Is anyone doing anything in particular?
I'd like to do second wind if that's super fine.
Sure.
I'm gonna
Absolutely.
fire a crossbow bolt at something.
They're still visible.
Absolutely,
It's a
yeah, for the
swarm,
moment.
so it's just me trying to hit center mass at this point. Because Nuatari is in the sky and that's not a spell, can I still cast a bonus action cantrip? Or okay.
Yes, yeah.
Probably not that one.
They continue to slink away from you, even as you shoot them, even as you're casting spells, even as you grapple at them. At this point, they are at the edge of natural vision. Is anyone else doing anything to stop them?
I'm walking forward and trying to swipe at shadows that might be them and grasp a hold of something in my hands. And roaring, and also very loudly.
And I've been walking forward since I cast the fireball. I've never stopped walking, and now it's firebolt from my hands as a cantrip, one after the other, until I can't see any more of them.
While Sabria is doing that, Riordan will pass her going in the opposite direction as his armor is probably glowing in spots. And as he walks by, though it is beneath him, excellent shot as he walks past.
Honoria rolls her eyes if she can hear this up in the sky where no one can see her.
Absolutely. You fire more spells at these kender. A couple of them go down as you continue to press on. Unless you're giving chase, though, they will slip away, and that's a choice you have to make right now.
I'm giving chase. I'm not going to get hit by these things again. Fuck that. I got 60 feet of movement. I'm going to keep flying and throwing frost from way up in the air. Nuts to that.
All right. Anybody else giving chase?
You're moving into the woods.
Off of the road.
But
Until you tell me to stop, I'm just going to, like, every few seconds just keep doing a light crossbow attack. You just tell me when to stop. I'm gliding.
Riordan would look up at some point and say, Honoria, they're retreating.
Do you want to get hit by this again?
I don't want to get hit by this again. And he looks at the priestess. Let us fall back.
Rukon still charging in the direction that the firebolts are being cast, yelling, "Burn! Burn them out! Suffer!"
Catch myself as I hear the conversation between the knight and the wizard.
I can't run that far. I'm slowing them by 10 feet.
We have wounded. He's right.
What's that? I can't hear you all the way up here.
So as you're trying to pull Rookon and Honoria back, and they're firing, here's what happens. Eventually, the kender do strike back. They all turn at once, and you can hear the screaming of their hoopacks. First, they're going to launch 3 attacks at Honoria in the sky. Then they're going to launch 3 attacks at Rookon on the ground. Honoria, that's going to be a 19, a 10, and
They can hit me from 120 feet away?
They can hit you from 120 feet away.
Motherfuckers.
I'm going to use warding flare on
One of those attacks.
wait though, if you're 120 feet away,
I got spell sniper. I'm staying as far away as I can.
yeah, let me just as long as they are within 30 feet of me.
They're not at this point unless you're pushing into the woods as well.
No.
So it was 2 attacks for me?
3 attacks. One of them was a 10, one of them was a 19, and one of them was a 21.
Okay, so
I
2
believe.
don't fall from the sky.
No constitution saves from you on this one. These are hoopak attacks. They're ranged attacks.
If I take damage in my fly spell, though, my concentration for falling.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So that's perfect. That will be 24 bludgeon damage on that round. And against Rookon, the lowest is going to be a 16. Does a 16 hit?
16 does not.
So you only take 2 hits. It's going to be 24 bludgeon damage to Rookon.
I am so glad for blood armor right now.
How much total? 24?
24.
I'm unconscious.
God. Riordan will turn back around and pull absolution back out as he begins to walk. But as he walks, he grabs one of the bodies of these misshapen fucking creatures and pulls it up in front of him as he is using a corpse of one of their own to get one of his own as he wades back in for Rookon. That's right.
Sir Reardon, if you're charging in to try to get to Rookon before these creatures do, make me an athletics check. We'll call this an opposed athletics check, and I'm going to use my last inspiration on this.
Stop giving him those.
It's a 22.
Mine's not that much.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see. You do get to him. There's one of these creatures on him. It's already sinking its mandibles into his chest. You can see blood from an artery spurting up into this creature's face. Rookon, you will take 2 death saving throw failures and an injury. Sir Reardon, what are you doing?
I'm getting these bastardizations off of my friend as he goes back into combat and swings absolution twice to sweat. Now, how many are on here? Because now we still in.
Just 1.
Okay, well, he's gonna bear down on this thing. 17.
It's just a hit.
I get to reroll that one. Oh, you've got to be effing kidding me. So that's a 10. I don't have any superiority dice left. One last absolution attack. 13.
That one's a mess. So wait, what was the total damage you did?
Total be 10. And I have a question. We're out of attack order right here, and so I'm doing this backwards. But they attacked my friend with bite attack for death saving throws. I had made it to them when he bit into Raccoon. Is that reactionary for a sentinel?
I will. Yeah, I'll let you take it narratively.
Oh,
It won't.
oh,
It won't
Don,
stop.
Don, I almost forgot. This is my first attack after taking second wind.
Oh, so you deal extra damage.
I deal max, don't I? Don't I do max damage with absolution?
You do 1d8 extra.
Okay. So 4 more, so that would be 14 total. And then you said I could take a sentinel attack on him?
And you have an inspiration on this attack from something that just came in chat. Yeah. So you can take your attack.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, chat. 17!
That's just enough.
Strong 17.
11
Plus
slashing. We go, baby! 18!
So with your burst after your second win, getting your second win, you charge, and this thing is tearing your friend apart quickly. Its fangs are deep into his chest, and with 3 swings, 2 hits, you throw it off of it. It goes back into the shadows of the woods. It stands up, badly mangled from your blows, and skitters back towards the others. And Rookon is there bleeding right at your feet.
He's going...
Crossbow bolts and rays of frost until you tell me to stop. Just so you
You're
know.
still hitting.
Okay.
Yeah, you're taking more of them out.
He grabs Rookon by, just whatever he can grab him over his arm, begins dragging him back towards the line as he's screaming for Sabria. Priestess! As he's pulling, because Rookon is destroyed right now.
Totally calmly walking toward where they are to help Reardon drag Rookon to safety.
Is Avrin doing anything, or is she just staying hidden?
She has stayed hidden this entire time. I don't know about you, but she's already basically died at the hands of these things. She would not gonna give chase.
3 more rounds of Hoopak swing up into the air at Honoria. That's going to be an 18, 24, and an 11.
The first 2 hit, and I'm falling to the ground.
How high up did you say you were?
I was 120 feet up.
Jesus.
No. Okay. I'm going to try to catch her. Riordan is going to move in as quickly as he can, and he's going to just try to, even if it's like he's throwing kender corpses, something to slow this fall, something to...
I am a golden god.
This is 24 bludgeon damage from the actual weapon attacks that hit Honoria. What's Honoria looking like right now? What's your hit point at?
I am... Yeah, how much did you say?
24.
Okay. I'm at a strong 12.
Greg, give me an athletics check.
Hey, buddy.
Catching somebody falling 120 feet is not easy. I just want to say that.
Plot armor. Oh, God.
Plot
Thank
armor.
you.
Okay, that'll help.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm like super nervous. Hold on. I feel like I'm going to have a heart attack.
I was so fine 5 minutes ago. I was fine.
Woo. Okay, hold on. Just everybody just hold on a second. I don't want to roll this at all. Dawn, do I have any inspirations?
You do not, no. But it is athletics.
All right. Here we go. So, man, that's a strong 11.
Honoria takes 47 falling damage as Sir Reardon, you drop Rookone and you're pumping. You're wearing your mail armor. You're exhausted. You're pushing. You're trying to reach her, and she falls through the trees, breaks several branches on the way down, and she slams into the ground for 47 damage.
Bringing me to -3.
So the plot armor probably saved her life, but it does knock her unconscious still.
Can I stabilize her as soon as I get up to her? Can I?
Did you? Yeah, I mean, Rookone probably needs stabilized too, or he's going to have to make a death saving throw.
I'll take care of Rookone.
Okay. I can't be everywhere. God damn, I'm so nervous.
I thought you were a knight of the realm.
Roll me medicine checks.
Reardon is, Greg isn't.
I do have advantages left, I think, so.
I made the mistake of thinking I was far enough away to... I didn't think they could get that far with those fucking things. Oh God, no!
Rookone is stabilized. Honoria, make me a death saving throw.
This isn't my bag.
Honoria, you're stabilized as well. Combat has ended. You do not suffer an injury. Rookone, you do suffer an injury. It's quiet now in the woods. It's dark. It's nighttime. It's not late afternoon anymore. You hear the faint laughter of the kender somewhere distant now, and then it's gone. And you were there, the 5 of you, 3 of you still conscious, alone.
As soon as Riordan sees that Honoria is living, he's not asking, he's scooping her up and he puts absolution over. And no, in fact, what he does is, if she's conscious at all, he will lay absolution on her chest as he holds her in his arms, just so absolution is free of the scabbard in case somebody comes for him, and he begins pumping towards where he knows Avern's position is.
I'd say Avern can see him coming.
Yeah, and looking around, noticing there are no other kenders, she's put away her bow and arrow and is limping towards him to meet him halfway.
Meet me halfway across the sky. Sorry.
What happened?
We lost.
Where are the others?
Hopefully they're coming.
I shouldn't be here any longer.
Agreed. Going to need you to take point, Lady Avern.
I will try my best.
At this point, Honoria is slung over Sir Reardon's shoulder. Where's Sabria and Rookone?
I've not left Rookone, and if I'm not able to bring him to consciousness, I'll be looking to the others for help here.
When you stabilize him, it takes him a few moments, but Rookone, you do stir. You see Sabria over top of you. It's dark now. The only light, if I'm not mistaken, is the pink light from Sabria's blade.
So, what's my injury?
Half max hit points and exhaustion.
But how's it play into the scene?
You, your chest has been opened up. You can feel, it's like if you were to have open heart surgery halfway and then they gave up on you and then you're looking down at this gaping wound in your chest. She's done what she can to kind of disinfect it and like basically keep you from bleeding out, but like you're in bad condition.
Rugon, breathing heavily, looks up at Sabria. Another scar.
Probably not. You'll be fine.
If it was, I would hope it would be symmetrical with the others.
You fought well, Rukon.
I lost it. For a moment, I couldn't control myself. I made stupid decisions.
Thanks, Sirion, and all the good gods that you did. Else we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Syrian, yes. Yeah. We have to leave. Help me up.
I help him to his feet, such as I can. I am wounded within an inch of my life myself. Supporting one another as we stand.
You are headed to join the others.
Mm-hmm.
You're headed to the road.
Yes.
All of you, the 5 of you. Noria, you're beginning to stir too, but you are also very weak. You probably have a couple of broken ribs at this point. You're lucky that it's not worse. Maybe you hit a tree branch in such a way that it just slowed you down enough that it wasn't as bad as it could have been, falling 120 feet out of the air.
Oh, I fell down the stupid tree and I hit every branch on the way down.
You did.
I look up to would be my shining knight. And it's Reardon, and instead of relief, there's just burning shame. But she goes limp.
The 5 of you proceed through the woods down the road. It gets darker and darker. You can hear fewer and fewer sounds. The further into the forest you go, the quieter it becomes. You don't know how long it'll take you to get through the woods. Sir Reardon, you've been through before. You know it should just be an hour, not long, taking this road. And as you are all stunned, surviving, but stunned, traveling along the road, there's only one person that hears anything but the sounds of your own slow, shambling footfalls, and that's Rook-Own. As you and Sabria move together down this road towards Uhopa town, Harthalen, you hear whispers. You hear them in both ears, accusing you, damning you.
He softens up and he starts to breathe heavily like he just caught his breath. And he starts breathing heavily and his traps and his shoulders relax and his head holds down in shame. And he grits his teeth and he rises back up. You were not with me then. I will not let you be with me now. And then powers through.
You hear one final whisper in your ear, not the whisper of your friend or your comrades that you led to their doom. It's the whisper of someone you met more recently, a woman named Inza. You reap what you sow. And that's how we'll end our episode tonight.
Oh, fucking Vistani.
So yay. It was great to get the gang back together today. Is all together in one place, working together. Thank you for being here. We're gonna go around in a circle, and please tell me how you're doing, where we can find you online, what you're looking forward to next. And I just want to say thank you guys all for being here tonight. It's so I missed having all your characters in one place at the same time because I love your characters so much, and I got to see some greatness from every single one of you tonight. I love the choices you made. But let's go around. We'll start with Rook-Own. Hey, Billy.
Happy fucking birthday, Don. Fucking evil gypsies, man. This was so much fun to be back with everybody. This was so dope. This combat was so cool. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Bill of the Forest, that's where it's at. Happy birthday to Don. I know I said that like in a dick tone earlier, but now I'm like happy tone, best friend, happy birthday.
Yeah.
If I'm getting Don a bottle of liquor for his birthday, chat, if you want to help out in what I should get him, please just fill the chat with your favorite type of liquor, and hopefully it's Don's least favorite type of liquor. So happy to play with y'all, friends. Yeah, man. That was so much fun. Moving on.
Awesome. Let's go on over and talk to Kiana. Kiana, welcome back. Avrin is breathing.
She's breathing. Not for lack of trying. So much vampiric kender. It's really great to be with everybody again. I was mulling over how Avrin was going to be like after all this, because she's fucked up, not just physically, but emotionally. And, all her trust problems are just even worse now. So that's great. I love it. So hopefully we'll get to see a little more of that. And probably all the nightmares she's going to have about being buried alive. That's great. Happy birthday, Don. I'm glad that we could play together for your birthday. It was so much fun. You can find me over on Twitter at KianaS. Best way to figure out what I'm doing, because I'm all over the internet playing role-playing games almost every day of the week. But tomorrow, special thing happening. I am running a game of Bluebeard's Bride. Don's going to be in it as a player. But not just that, it is going to be on a brand new Twitch channel called Salty Sweet Games, which is a channel that me and Lauren, that Salty Ginger, who is also part of the Tales from the Rim team, as mine, it's a new channel from us. And we don't officially launch until spring, but we're doing a soft launch tomorrow to figure out how to do this pro streamer thing. So definitely go check us out if you like something horror, because we're just a place that we get to play games with our friends. So can't wait for next week and to see how we get along with about all of us at 1 HP or so. It's fine. It's great.
Thank you very much. I'm really looking forward to Bluebeard's Bride tomorrow. I've never gotten to play, but I've been envious of all the people who have. It looks amazing. Of course, it won a bunch of awards and accolades last year that it came out. So if you guys are around tomorrow at 1 p.m., do check out Kiana on her channel. Help the new channel have a bunch of hype, and we'll have a fun game tomorrow. But for now, let's move over to Allison and Sabria. It's great to have you back too. I've missed you so much, and I loved that first scene. I'm sorry. I like mean Sabria.
I loved it too. It was such a blast to be back with all of you. Thanks so much for setting that up and telling that story together with me, Don. My friends know I really do. I love a good corruption story. but you're just making it so easy. You're making it so easy, Don.
Try.
The other thing I have to say here, though, is I started this episode with 53 hit points and lost 62. So if it wasn't for that 10 plot armor that I started with, I'd be among the unconscious here as well. What is this fucking world? Oh my god. It's the world where we almost die all the time. But I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to use my time to put in the pitch also for Bluebeard's Bride tomorrow on Lauren and Kiana's channel. Fantastic system and two fantastic women running the channel and running the game. Just, you're going to love it. So definitely check it out. And if you've got a moment, next Sunday night, the series finale of Project Athena, our Pulp Cthulhu adventure here on the channel. I think maybe the longest running Pulp Cthulhu game on the internet. It all comes down to this. So excited about that. Catch me on Twitter at Allison Robinson with 2 L's and a Y. Everything else about me is there. Just could go on and on, but love you all. Love getting to play this game. Thank you. And many, many happy returns of the day, Don.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I will be there for the finale of Project Athena. I'm very excited about it. This show wouldn't exist if Project Athena didn't come before it. I love that show. I've watched it from the beginning. I love your characters, and I hope nothing but the best and happiest endings for all of you.
I'm sure that's what Greg has planned.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
And I don't want to say too much, but they're looking at our fearless leader. There may be an announcement of some kind at the end of the finale next week about what's next for your Sunday night crew.
There may have been, but then a fireball hit me.
I mean, it sounds
earlier.
like Greg has something to say.
Yeah.
No.
I said I was definitely going to make an announcement and have an announcement made, but then I got hit by a fireball in the middle of combat, which I don't know, made me rethink just so much. Just checking.
It's one of the fascinating things about the mechanic that you've set up, Don, with the shifting of alignments is, 2 episodes ago when I was lawful good, I would never have taken that shot. But at lawful neutral, all that is undead must die. And anything that's between it and me is collateral damage. Sorry, Greg.
Just a little closer, Sabria.
I love it so much. Speaking of evil and going in corruption, hi Tia.
Hi, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you for kender, which, as you know, are high up on my list of things that I love more than anything. It's great to have the gang back together again. This was great. There was kind of a crazy moment where I almost thought about shooting Riordan by accident while he was in the middle of that, and all of a sudden later on he comes to pick me up while I'm running, so I'm kind of glad that I didn't go with that initial instinct. But to make it all better, hey guys, I'm doing a Wormwood giveaway. Here's a link in Twitter. You can win up to $25 from Wormwood. Just make sure you enter in by tomorrow. It's just gonna be drawn from retweets. No, you don't even have to follow me. Just retweet the tweet, show a little bit of love. Had a lot of fun at Critical Role. Got my 10-year green card. Loving that. Life is good. I am on a great show over on Encounter Roleplay that is run by Greyhawk Shane, which is awesome, on Fridays. The rebrand is going well. Merchandise is going to be coming out this week for role players. Very excited. This next word, Arsqueef, is the person who did all the Critical Role emotes. It's a person. Yeah, it's not what you thought it was. No, that one is that's a deception roll at the start there. But the person who did all the Critical Role emotes is doing our emotes, our logo. They are finished. I can't wait to share them with you guys. And that's about it. I know, our Squeef's name is the greatest thing. But the thing is, I asked him why he took that name, and he said once you hear it, you never forget. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong. So, good times. Happy birthday.
Good times. Thank you. Yeah, I'll say for myself before I pass it over to Greg. Tomorrow, Bluebeard's Bride once again be there. Project Athena once again be there. Next week, you all will have the opportunity to rest, and we'll decompress a little bit. I'm sure it'll be a nice, easy episode all around. But it's been a stretch, and I know you guys need a nap. So we'll have a great episode next week. It's going to be different. We're going to start expanding the world a little bit more and getting to look at, things other than just monsters, or the types of monsters at least that we've seen so far, which I'm very much looking forward to. Thank you all for the birthday wishes. Everyone in chat for being so supportive. Greg, before we pass it off to you to close things off here, I want to say I need you all to make me corruption saving throws.
Charisma?
Charisma.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh wow, I love this. This is so good.
Everybody come to the dark side.
So you all fail, and we do have some results in from chat. I am taking a look at that now. The light still shines. We have a tie. It's between Avrin and Rookone. That means that you both win. You are both protected. It's not the night, no. Avrin and Rookone, even though you failed, you are protected this week from corruption. Thank you, chat, for that. Also, the subscriber poll from chat, Sir Reardon. How much corruption is Sir Reardon at right now? It's like 2 or something, right?
No, I have none.
You have none. Okay. Then we'll deal with that at the end. Sabria, you won the Eye of Nutari. That means that you gain automatic corruption, and you all gain corruption except for Rookone and Avrin for failing. Nutari is the dominant moon in the sky. That's the black moon. That's the corrupt moon. That's the evil moon. And
That's the fun moon.
The fun moon. You can all roll me 1d8. Sabria, you can roll me 2d8. Greg, you can roll me 1d8 more because you get to remove some corruption.
I totally deserve that, by the way. I earned it.
You did.
You did fuck some shit up, though, to be fair. Like, that was,
It was
pretty...
good.
When the levee breaks.
All right, so Greg, you spend one of your light still shines. You have 1 left, and you are still at 0 corruption. However, Sabria, you gain 12 corruption this episode. That's a slide. So you don't have to decide now. You've already slipped from lawful good to neutral good. Next episode, you get to choose between true neutral or lawful evil.
I think I slipped to not neutral good, but to lawful neutral.
Lawful
so that's
neutral.
where I am right now.
That's what I meant. Yeah. So you can go lawful evil or true neutral. Next episode, and we'll let it be surprised and see if people in chat can figure it out from the role.
Yes, play. I like that.
That's all for me. Thank you guys so much. This is a lot of fun. I'm glad to get everybody back. I'm looking forward to next week. Let's pass it off to Greg.
Wow. Great episode, Don. Happy birthday, my brother. Everybody, I'll just mirror what everybody said. So great to have everyone back. Coming up here on the channel, we have Dungeon of the Mad Mage tomorrow night. We do have, of course, Project Athena coming this Sunday, coming to a close, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join us as we say goodbye to some of my favorite characters ever. And then next Monday, please join us back here for the 2nd episode at 9 p.m. Eastern of our Lady Blackbird campaign, Wild Blue Yonder. It was super fun. And go to our YouTube right down below to see the 1st episode, which is already online. Just a blast, just super duper fun. And then also on Friday from 1 to 4 Eastern, I'm on Scratch channel doing a little Star Trek, and it's fun. And if you don't have anything going on, go check us Friday at 1 to 4, and we'll, boldly go. But I had a great time playing with everybody tonight. This is a super stressful. Pretty sure I don't need to take a stress test when my doc says so. I'm just going to show video of this episode as I had to make that athletics when Honoria was dropping like a rock. I love Sir Reardon. I love everything about this game. Dawn's story is one for the ages. But with that being said, I don't have anything else. If everybody doesn't have anything else, as the campfire dies down, there's but one thing left to say. You can't always roll nat 20s, but you can always role play. We'll see you next time, friends.